What's up guys, it's Taisatsu here. Today I'm going to do a account review on my own account. I'll be showing you guys my units and builds for this season's RTA Season 4. I'll be showing you guys the units that I'm planning to use and their builds on this season's RTA. So let's just get on with it. Alright, first up, we'll start by level since it's my default one. So first up we have Fire Ravi. I'll show you her stats. Yes, she's on a speed build, but I do plan on what do you call it? I do plan to change her to counter set because I think counter set Ravi is really good, and it's it's the build that I lost to more often. Like when people draft Fire Ravi against me, counter Fire Ravi is just very strong. In my opinion, she just racks up so much damage and healing, especially with Sigurd's Scythe. And from what I've heard from high level players, Ravi doesn't really need immunity because there's a lot of strippers anyway, so even with immunity, it's just going to be useless. So, no, I mean, not useless, but what do you call it? It's also good to not slot it in, is what I'm trying to say. Anyways, these are her stats. Not the best in the world for a speed Ravi. It's pretty mediocre, I would say. Not even 100% crit. I mean, I could make her 100% crit if I convert one of these stats, but I don't know if I reforge this. This one's pretty mediocre as well. Not sure if I would reforge or not. So anyway, these are pieces if you guys are curious. So yeah, this is my Fire Ravi. Not the best in the world, but I do plan on improving her. I do plan to draft her as well this season because she's just that strong. Even on this build, she can like dish out a great amount of damage. She's a little bit on squishy side, to be honest here. Like usually Fire Ravis have like 18k or maybe even 19k HP, which is insane. Also, this is the EE that I use her at the moment. I do plan to change it on the stun one, like the increased stun chance. Also, my Fire Ravi isn't plus 15. She's actually my very first 5-star hero in this game. I remember not on the selective summon because back in the day, people told me to. I mean, the internet told me to re-roll for Angelica, and I just re-rolled for Angelica on my uh the selective summon. So yeah, this is my Fire Ravi. All around pretty solid, I would say. So yeah, moving on, we have Lilius. Now Lilius is just my expedition unit. As you can see, there's just she has really scuffed gear, like two level 67 pieces, a level 70 necklace, no 90 piece of gear here. It's just your average PvE Lilius, I guess, is what I would say. Nothing special. I don't draft her on RTA, so yeah, that's Lilius. Next up, Kairon. Yeah, I know. There's a blue neck. Laugh it out, guys. Anyway, these are his stats. Not obviously very. It's pretty solid, I would say, for a Kairon build. I only draft Kairon when the opponent has like a lot of green units, like for example Falconer, Clury, and Landy, like or maybe even Rowana. If they're all on the same team on my opponent's side, then I draft Fire Kairon. He can do a lot of work on those type of teams, and he's also really good on some cleave teams. Not against all cleave teams, but I do sometimes draft Kairon on cleave teams, but I don't really use him anymore. I don't think I've drafted him a lot of times last season. So yeah, this is my Fire Kairon. Not the best. Like the attack is a bit too low for this for a full I-90k. So these are his pieces if you guys are curious. I do plan to change this to attack percent. Let me just see if I got one. I do have one. All right. Let's see what's his stats going to be. I got the max roll. Really nice. Not even four. It caught up a bit, so not bad. So yeah, these are pieces again. This chest plate is pretty weak. I don't know why I reforged this. There it is. There's my Chiron. The reason why I reforged this is because I need 100% crit. I remember I lost a game where my Chiron didn't crit. Like I forgot but he didn't crit, which cost me the game. I don't remember who, but I recall the specific match. So yeah, it's the reason why I reforged this ring, and I also don't really farm Azumanic a lot, which kind of tells the story behind this blue 90 ring. But yeah, this is my Chiron. Pretty solid overall. But yeah, moving on, Elfelt. I do plan to make a video about her. She isn't complete yet. As you can see here, like really low attack so far. Alright, crit damage. She's gonna reach 250 plus speed when I get to reforge some of her pieces. But I think Alpha's really good. She has a niche, I guess. She's still kind of niche, to be honest, even after her buff. I don't really see her that often, but from what I've heard, she's pretty good in very certain scenarios, which I think it's enough to cover for a niche on a unit. So these are her stats, not obviously the best. I mean, she's still an ongoing project, not even a single mola on her. Oh yeah, by the way, imprints. Let me just show them. I have no imprints on my Fire Ravi, only B on my Lilias, none on my K-Con. Alright, back to Alpha. Okay, these are her equipment. I mean, this sword is pretty good. Like the speed and the effectiveness is nice, but not enough offensive stats. So maybe I do plan to change this sword. Who knows? Like to a more offensive sword for my Elfelt. These are my helmets are all pretty weak, to be honest. I only have a couple of good helmets. I mean, a couple only, from what I remember. This is her chest plate, really nice stats overall for Elfelt. This is her neck. This is the ring. This ring is pretty horrible aside from the speed. I mean, even the speed is really mediocre, but it is what it is. You guys are about to find out why I have like trash speed gear. Next up, Fire Lytica. I don't draft her. I don't really use her. I guess you could say she's a world boss unit. Her build hasn't changed. Like, I think the last time I used her was on Abyss. Like the Dark Corvus stage. I think that was, from what I recall, that was like the last time that I've used my Fire Lytica. So So yeah, I don't think I'm even going to bother. Like, I mean, this is her EE. I think this is her best EE. So yeah. Oh, yeah, Kron EE. I didn't get to show you guys. This is my Kron EE. I also do plan to change my Kron to counter, but I just recently built my Banshee team, so it's going to be a very long project, I would say. So this is my Fire Tenebria. Expedition unit. Yes, there's a blue sword. So yeah, these are her stats. Pretty solid stats, I would say. She's only currently for expedition. I draft her on. No, I don't draft her on RTA, but I do slot her in on the Green Expo and the Dark Expedition. She's a really solid unit on both of those expeditions. So I think we only need like high effectiveness and pretty high speed for Fire Tenebris. She used to be faster. Like I have like a 16 speed necklace that she used to have, which is I 90'd, and I gave it away to other people. She was like she was holding it temporarily at that time. So yeah, these are her stats on the equipment. I gave her like scuffed speed gear. like really, really scuffed, except for this one. This is one's like I guess you could say she's hogging it at the moment since no one's really using it. Yeah, pretty average stats for a PvE unit, or really solid stats, I would say. Next up, Fire Arcades. If Derp Turtle is watching this video, I apologize in advance. So nothing really special going on. I don't use Arcades at all. She's just a gear holder at the moment. So yeah, moving on. Fire Tamarin. Now, Fire Tamarin, there are a lot of you can like literally slap like whatever pieces of gear on her, and she'll work because she's like the queen of PvE, as you may know. She's really good. Like I only have a single piece of I-90 gear, and even then, this piece is not really good, but it's really good for Tamarin overall. So I just slapped it on her and called it a day, and she really works. I draft her a lot on PvE. I don't draft her on RTA though, obviously, because good luck with drafting Tamarin on RTA. But yeah, regardless, these are her stats. You, if you want to build your Tamarin, I suggest like having very high effectiveness because she really needs to strip on her S1. So yeah, this is Tamarin. I'll show you the pieces right now. Really solid overall, I would say, for Tamarin. I don't think I've only changed her boots ever since the introduction of I-90 gear, and I made her effectiveness higher. So I did. So yeah, I did change her build up a bit. And so next up is my Wyvern Farmer, Sigrid. These are like pretty common stats. As I said earlier, I don't farm A13 that much, so she's not on a rage set, unfortunately. Yes, I do use a General Purgus team when I'm doing Wyvern. So yeah, these are really solid stats for a Wyvern 13 cigarette. Very high effectiveness because she's also the debuffer for my Wyvern. Like she only needs a 65 effectiveness, which luckily I managed to get. These are her stats on her weapon. Really good Wyvern unit. If you're a new player, I suggest re-rolling for Sigrid on selective summons. She really helps you progress your PvP units really fast. I apologize in advance if you guys hear like hammers because there's a construction going on my neighborhood. So I do apologize in advance for that. Really, really amazing unit for Wyvern. She's also a really good PvP unit for like guild wars and stuff because she can extinct RB and deal a huge amount of single target damage on her S2. So yeah, this is her EE. Like I said, she's part of the debuffers on my team. If I can, I would use this, but I don't think I have it, and I think this one's really solid for me overall. So moving on, I have Taranar Guard. Taranar Guard, this is just my Wyvern 13 farmer. I don't use Furious. I think Taranar Guard is really solid too. But if you're a new player, I suggest using Furious over Taranar Guard. The reason I'm using Taranar Guard is because he synergizes really well with General Purvis with the dual attack chance. His death break isn't 100%, but when he lands like two or three uh, dual attacks, the coin flip will be in your favor on one of them. So yeah, he's on Junkyard Dog. Really helps debuff the Wyvern. I think there's also an artifact, a warrior artifact. I think it was cigarettes. I don't know the name. Obviously, I dusted all of the copies. So yeah, these are his stats. He only needs like 200 speed and 65, at least 65 effectiveness. That's pretty much all you need on a Turner Guard. Filler gear. I'll show you the pieces. Like this is just filler gear, literally filler gear. So yeah, moving on. I have Crow. Now my Crow is stuck on the season 1 and 2 build, or I guess season 2 build. If you guys remember this RTA season 2, it's the season where let's what do you call it? Where the tanky or bruiser meta was really dominant, and there were like tanks like Crow and Ruel with really high effectiveness, like around this effectiveness range, effect resist. Sorry. So yeah, he's still stuck on the season 2 build. Like I think the Crow builds nowadays are like as high HP as you can, around this speed and 100 effect resist. But fortunately, I don't think I have those insane gears because all of my good high HP gears on my other knights, not on my Crow. I rarely draft my blue Crow ever since last season. I don't think I've drafted blue Crow after season 2. It's just really hard to draft him, in my opinion at least, because I have a lot of knights. So I think I prioritize them over my blue Crow. I don't know if that's wrong, but if my if my opponent picks Last Rider Crow, then I think Blue Crow is a solid answer. Because typically when players draft Last Rider Crow, they draft Blue Crow to counter pick that. Because Blue Crow takes a lot of damage from Last Rider Crow because of Aureus from his allies. So yeah, this is my Blue Crow. I would say it's a really solid Blue Crow, I guess. I think it's solid in my opinion. Like he really did a lot of work back in season 2, and when I did draft him on some season 3 matches, he did really nice as well. Like defense buff is really handy. The S1 provokes the horse to nuke someone out. It's really amazing as well. But yeah, these are his stats on the equipment. My free gear rolled really well here. Like my crow has like 4 free pieces of gear, and it's still a solid crow in my opinion. But these are his stats. Nothing special really. Just your average season 2 blue crow. All right, moving on. We have Karen. I have a soft spot for Karen. She's like, I think she's one of my first 4-star units, and I used her a lot on when I was grinding the story. I have a soft spot for Karen. She's waifu. Uh, I don't really use her anymore. I used to use her on Expedition as the defense breaker, but now I use Falconer Clary as my defense breaker. So she's geared though. She's holding some filler gear at the moment. So if you want an Expedition Karen, this I think this is a solid benchmark. At least that's what I would say. Because I think the problem with Blue Karen is just she has a 1 turn defense break. If they buffer to have like 2 turn defense break, that would be really good. That would be really amazing. Maybe I could draft her back onto Expedition or maybe even Wyvern for that matter. She used to be on my Wyvern one shot as well, back when Wyvern 11 was the GOAT. But now it's Wyvern 13, and I do still think Karen is viable. Like she's on one shot teams, but unfortunately, I just use Tarnar Guard over Karen because of the uptime on the defense break. So yeah, these are her stats. Really mediocre stats across the board, but it's blue Karen. I have a soft spot for blue Karen, and she's also waifu. So moving on, we have one of my favorite units, SSB. All right, this isn't your standard SSB build. Like there are SSB is just an amazing unit. She has a lot of variety of builds out there. Like she's an insane unit. Like you can literally build her any way you want. really, pretty much. She's just that good of a unit. This is my SSB. It's the very tanky variant while having high attack, not the crit chance crit damage one. Like I think the popular SSB build right now is around 3,500 attack, maybe around this kind of defenses, and high crit chance and some crit damage. That is the popular SSB build that I've been seeing nowadays. But regardless, this is still a really solid SSB pair. This is still a solid SSB stat line. So yeah, I draft her ever since Rowan's release. I like draft her 24/7. She's just that good. But SSB went through a lot of builds, like a lot of builds, yeah. But this one stick to me the most. I personally would like to build her like the crit chance crit damage way, but people told me to run like four crit chance sets and a immunity set because SSB really needs immunity set. But unfortunately, I can't do that kind of build because these two pieces will just go to waste. And these two pieces fit my SSB really, really well. Like, yeah, these two pieces right here. So anyway, this is my SSB stats, really solid across the board. Plus 30 drink, obviously. So these are her stats on the gear. Like I said, I can't do the 4 crit set pieces SSB build because these two pieces are just that good. I can't find a replacement for them, which is unfortunate. But regardless, I do think this is a really solid SSB build. The only way I can improve it is by replacing this with the I-90 version and finding a piece like this. I don't want to reforge this. I don't think I want to. But it's just filler at the moment since I can't find a good replacement for this. Alright, moving on, we have Montmorency. She also has a soft spot for me. She did really well back when I was farming what do you call it? The story side. And PV in general, Raid, Abyss, all that good stuff. Montmorency, she's just that she's just too good. And is still being used today. She's a really good unit. She's also seen on high level RTA. So this is Montmorency really solid stats overall for a PvE unit. Even on Guild Wars, I think these stats will like suffice. So these are her pieces right here. Just above average pieces, a lot of free gear. Plus 30 Magahara Stone. Some people use her on Rod of Aramelis, but uh, unfortunately, I only have one copy of Rod of Amaryllis, and it's on my DN, which is coming up next. So this is my DN. She's also stuck on the Season 2 build, and now she's my Banshee Hunter. Like, DN was really dominant on Season 2. She's also one of the units that I was saying earlier when I was on Crow. Like, one of the units who has like 100 effect 150 effect resist. Her, Crow, and DN are like one of the like one of the early picks. The good neutral picks to go into back in season 2. These are her stats really solid overall. Like you can see a couple of free pieces here. I think I changed her build ever since season 2 was over. So yeah, I don't remember what her stats were. I think I had her like faster and more and less effect resist and more into bulk. She obviously had 150, but yeah. This is my DN. I just use her for Banshee now. Before she used to be on my what do you call it? My Wyvern 11 one-shot team. She was level 50 back then, but when the end became meta on season 2, that's where when I, build her as the meta build. Alencia. I genuinely think Alencia is the hardest unit to build, one of the hardest units to build in the game. It's really my Alencia went through a lot of uh, variations of builds. Like before, she used to be on a 4 crit set piece. Now I turned her back into speed. Before she was speed set immunity, or I mean speed set crit, then speed set immunity, then 4 crit and immunity. Now I turned her back into speed immunity. I don't really draft her sometimes, but like again, she fell off on season 2. Damn, I just noticed a lot of units fell out of flavors ever since season 2 ended. So yeah, this is my Alencia build. I do plan on improving her a bit. I have her on Alencionics Wrath. Her defense is a bit too low, in my opinion. I don't think I have any solid defense pieces around here, which is unfortunate. Yeah, no defense percent on any of these pieces. Just relying on base overall. So yeah, this is my Alencia. Really, I think it's solid. Yeah, it's a solid Alencia build in my opinion. I think she needs 60% crit rate on a level 30. Assuming this is level 30, she only needs like 60% crit rate. If my math is correct. Well, I think it is. From what I remember, I've calculated it. I'm not going to calculate it just to make sure, like right at the moment. So yeah, these are her pieces. She only has like B imprint. She's a really good pick back in season 2. I don't think I've drafted her that much last season. Yeah, I didn't draft her that much last season, which is unfortunate. How the mighty have fallen indeed. These are her pieces right here. Really solid pieces, I would say. So yeah, Alencia. Hopefully she comes back into the meta. Really like using her. She's a fun unit to use, especially when Mind's Eye procced. Next up is Charles. My Charles is now just a Banshee Hunter at the moment. I do plan to make a video about one-shot Banshee 13 without a rage set on Viking. Because my Viking isn't on rage set. You guys are about to see later. So yeah, these are his stats. Uh this is the kind of stat that you should, I guess, aim for if you're trying to copy. So yeah, these are his stats. Really solid across the board for a Banshee Charles. These are his pieces right here. Non I-90 gear. I mean, technically he has a 90 gear, which is this one, which is really garbage. This piece is just garbage. This one was effect resistant. High rolled into effect. It was like 20% effect resist. It just made it into flat attack. Yeah, this is Charles. My Charles was built before. Like he was on a 4-piece crit set and immunity back then because I didn't have a Banshee team. I just recently built my Banshee team just like last week, I would say. So yeah, it's my Charles, just a Banshee hunter. Next up, Falcon Artillery. Really happy about my Falcon Artillery. I do want to make her faster, but unfortunately I don't have the pieces to do so. Make her faster. She's really tanky. Like in terms of HP, this is a really tanky Falcon Artillery, which is just unheard of. I do plan to make her to drop some of the HP for more speed, but it's going to be a long journey before I am able to achieve that. So anyways, really solid Falcon Artillery, really solid stats across the board. Like obviously the faster the better, but unfortunately this is the highest that I could get her while maintaining good stats on defenses and effectiveness. These are her pieces right here. Back in season 3, on the early days, I draft Falcon Artillery a lot, along with my Remnant Violet. Overall, Falcon Artillery is just an amazing. I think she what do you call it? She rose into the meta around, I don't remember if it's season two or three, or at the start of season three. I think it was season two, like when she started to gain popularity because of Remnant Violet. So yeah, it's really solid Falcon Auxiliary. Next up, my Baiken. This is my Banshee Baiken, not on a rage set, but on a crit set and hit set. She can one-shot Banshee with these stats. If you're struggling on one-shotting Banshee without a rage set, these are solid benchmarks for a non-rage set Baiken. Like these stats right here. She can one-shot uh, my Banshee with my setup at the very least. So yeah. These are her pieces, nothing out of the ordinary. Really solid across the board. Alright, this is Biken. So yeah, this is my Biken. No imprints. Just unfortunate. Alright, next up, my Celine. I only built my Celine because of what season was it? I think it was season two. I was struggling against Cleave playstyle. I was struggling against the Cleave playstyle, so I decided to build my Celine. Obviously, my Celine is really, really mediocre. Like some Celines are around these stats or even higher on my type of build. Like I've seen like 4,200 and 330 Celines. Like that's insane. With this kind of build, and that's just insane to me. But obviously, I'm not really giving her like the best of the best year. Like she only has like some of the good filler ones, I would say. But regardless, I do still think that this Celine can one shot units that what do you call it? That do a non-attack skill. So yeah, no imprints here. Obviously, that's why her. I mean, regardless, her attack is really low. She used to be on 4K, but I stripped her necklace for I think it was Biken. Yeah, yeah, a blue. She used to have this necklace, a blue necklace. That's how filler my Celine was. But regardless, she works. She really, really works. She used to be on a plus 30 portrait as well. I think I slapped it on my Charles for my Banshee. Really solid overall. Just solid, yeah. It's she's about solid, and that's about it, which is unfortunate. I mean, Celine is Celine. She works. Next up, Vildred. I only use Vildred on normal arena. Like, obviously, I mean, yes, another blue piece of gear. I think my only slot my Vildred for normal arena defense is when I think I'm going to get outsped because I do use a Judge Kisei comp for that. So yeah, this is my Vildred. Nothing special, I would say. Like it's your average Vildred build, 4K, not even 300. I obviously didn't put that much effort into building this unit, even just for arena, but I would say it's like it's not good. What can I say? It's really mediocre. So this is my Vildred. I only use him on arena, like I said, arena offense, and that's about it. He's about to be SSS. I just need one more Vildred. So yeah, this is my Vildred. Oh yeah, he used to be my farmer. When I didn't have RB back then, Green Vildred used to be my farmer, which is why he's plus 15 right here. A really solid unit. This next up is my Green Violet. I stripped his necklace. I stripped his ring for my Tempest ring. This is my Green Violet. I don't really draft her. I don't really draft him on RTA. And before he used to be one of my Guild War offense units, but as my account progressed, he just fell out of flavor. If I do get the chance to use him again, I would love to because I really like his dodge counter play style. Yeah, this is my Violet. No Mola on here, obviously. These are his pieces right here. He's like on the some free lifesteal gear from Abyss and some really uh mediocre crit sets. So moving on, we have Iceria. So yeah, This is my Iseria PvE or Abyss Iseria. I'm surprised I have two 90 pieces on her. I use her on PvE. I don't draft her on RTA. Before, her and Tamarin used to be on my arena offense team when I was cleaving. I remember back in the day, like when I was still like Challenger, around Challenger League, I used to have Tamarin, Iseria, BBK, and Sidon. I think, yeah. This is her build. Her necklace hasn't changed. This is still her necklace to this day. I can't seem to find a good necklace aside from this one. These are stats, really solid stats for a PvE Iseria. Nothing much to say here. These are her pieces right here. Oh, I see why. Yeah, this is a really mediocre 90 piece. I think was on my Falconer Clary before, and I just slapped it on Iceria since this piece of gear fits her the best. Yeah, Iceria, nothing much to say there. One of the best PvE units out there. Next, we're on to the big guns right here, which is Landy. Now I'm really proud of my Landy build. She's really solid, in my opinion. Like, yeah, her attack is a bit low, but her defenses are really nice. Now, some of you might say 1,000 defense. She's she's gonna hit a thousand defense when I convert this into defense percent. Actually, do I have it? No, I don't. So feels bad. This is my Landy. I think I have a really good Landy, in my opinion. Like she's a really amazing unit. She fits my playstyle. Like she's a blessing on tank or bruiser players and a curse for tank or bruiser players. So it's 50-50 on that. I do love Landy. Ever since she got buffed, obviously before she got buffed, she was pretty trash. I just pulled her because she's limited on her debut banner, but ever since she got buffed, she's a monster now. I really like you. I really love using her. She's an amazing unit. Really fits my playstyle. So yeah, these are her stats. Really solid stats across the board. I do plan on turning her defense higher because of this piece right here. I could convert flat health into what do you call it? Defense percent. So she's gonna reach a thousand defense, which is I think a good benchmark for this kind of Landy build. Yeah, my Landy is a bit high on crit damage. The reason for that is because I think all of my pieces have like crit damage subs. Yeah, like right here. Crit damage sub, crit damage here, crit damage here, and this piece has really high crit damage, like this piece right here. So yeah, I think I think this is a solid Landy. I really love using her a lot. Really solid unit for RTA and just PvP overall. Next up, we have General Purgus. Now, I have two General Purguses. This one, obviously, this is a Wyvern build. Nothing much to say here. It's a really good Wyvern 13 General Purgus build. Like, if you have this kind of gear, just slap it on him if you're a no player, and he's gonna work pretty much on your Wyvern 13. Also, this is my second General Purgus. He's currently on the works right here. It's currently in progress of being built, but yeah, I do plan on making a second General Purgus. I know, it's toxic. I know I'm a meta slave, but I think General Purgus is just too good to not to build. So yeah, next up is my Judge Kisei. It's your standard Judge Kisei. It's your standard cleaver Judge Kisei right here. Nothing really special to say about it. Like, obviously, the solid benchmarks for a Judge Kisei is 4k and as much crit damage as you can. Unfortunately, I don't think I can reach, like, 350 crit damage, but it is what it is. But she's still a solid cleaver unit in general. Oh, I actually have her at S. I didn't even know. Oh, it's probably from all the blue keys that I've pulled. So, yeah, this is my Judge Kisei. It's really Really amazing cleaver overall for normal arena at the very least. Next up is also one of the hardest units to build for me is LQC. Now obviously she's a work in progress. Like this attack is so low. Like if you're here to find out about a good LQC build, you're on the wrong place. Because this LQC build is just straight up garbo. Like she's still a work in progress, like I said earlier. And I just before she used to be on a different build. Like I used to have her like 4 crit sets and immunity. She was like 0 speed and like around 3,500 attack and this amount of crit damage with 100% crit and some bulk. Now obviously having a 0 speed LQC is pretty garbage, is what I've been told, but so I've converted her into the speed build. I don't know if speed boots is a good option or not, but I don't know. Overall, I don't know. Overall, it's a mediocre LGC build. She's still a work in progress. I do plan on building her up series. On building her up. She's a really amazing unit to counter some of the dominant dart meta units out there. So yeah, this is my LQC. Don't follow this LQC build. Next up is one of my golden boys, which is A Tywin. So this is my A Tywin. It's not the crit chance crit, or I mean, it's not the bruiser type A Tywin. Like that is pretty dominant nowadays, but regardless, I do still think this kind of A Tywin build is amazing. It's my A Tywin build is like the debuff or support kind of A Tywin. Not on Holy Sacrifice, unfortunately. I only have one copy of Holy Sac, and it's not even enhanced yet, so I just don't bother. I think Adamant Shield is just more consistent to me at the moment since I don't have a plus 30 Holy Sac. So yeah, this is my A Tywin. It's not the usual A Tywin build, like I said earlier, with the high crit chance and crit damage. It's more focused around speedy, bulky, and uh, debuffy. Is that even a word? It isn't. It probably isn't. So yeah, these are his pieces. I do plan to reforce this piece right here since to boost up more of his speed since it's a really good piece. And this piece is pretty mediocre, I would say. The this piece is really good. Like all of the stats that A Tywin wants and needs, it's all in here. This piece is amazing. High this this gives me the option to not give him an effectiveness ring, which is really nice. Having high effectiveness here is really solidified my A type build. And this ring right here is just like chef's kiss. It's so good. I remember this rolling into 5 speed. Like I got a 5 speed roll in here. I remember, and these are his boots. I think the only thing that I want to improve, if I could improve upon my A Tywin, is immunity set. That's about it. If my A Tywin is on immunity set while maintaining these stats, I would say my A Tywin would be really decked out. So this is my A Tywin, really solid A Tywin build. Not the meta one at the moment. I do plan on shifting him into that meta build of the Bruiser A Tywin, but yeah. Overall, really happy about my A Tywin. Next up, Spider Maya. I really love this unit. She's so fun to use on Guild Wars offense and some RTA matches. She's really fun to use. Although I don't draft her like 24/7, when I do draft her, she does a lot of work and it's just overall fun to use. So this is my fighter Maya build at the moment. Speed set not on counter. These are her pieces right here. I'm really proud of my fighter Maya. She's I have a lot of defense gear laying around, which is the reason why I just built her up. Oh yeah, this is fighter Maya. I don't think I have nothing much else to say right here. I think the only thing that I want is maybe slightly more higher crit damage, I guess. But that would be pretty difficult considering the build that I have right now. But this is my fighter Maya, nothing much else to say about that. She's a really, I guess she's kind of underrated in my opinion, but she's overall a really good unit. So yeah, next up we have Last Rider Crow. Everyone kind of hates this guy, which is understandable. So this is my Last Rider Crow. It's your standard Last Rider Crow. Like I think the standard build for LR Crows is around these stat lines: 1,500 defense, 25k, and 220 speed. I managed to get that threshold. Like obviously, if I could make him faster while maintaining these stats, that would be great. But it would be a solid. I mean, it's going to be a hurdle to get over that stat line. So yeah, this is my LR Crow. Really proud of my LR Crow. Really amazing unit. One of my favorites as well. Like I'll show you species right here. I do plan on making him more tankier. Like I've seen Sky King have like a 28k crow while having these the same amount of stats right here on both defense and speed. Like I do plan on going to that route. I think 220 speed is a solid speed tier for LR Crow. So yeah, these are his pieces right here. This is obviously the weakest linked. I think this is the weakest piece that I have on him at the moment. Also, I guess this one. Hopefully, when I do farm Banshee again, I get to improve his stats. Really solid Last Rider Crow. That's pretty much about it. So next up, Tempest Siren. I recently built her on Lifesteal set. Before she used to be on like the same amount of stats but on a speed set. But thanks to me building my Banshee one shot team recently, I was able to manage to build her on Lifesteal set. Nothing much else to say about. She's a really amazing unit on Lifesteal set. I've been missing out on a lot. She's an amazing unit on Lifesteal set. If you have your T-Surin on speed set with with the same amount of stats, I suggest building her on lifesteal set. She's she's really amazing on lifesteal build. Like actually crazy. I've been missing out on lifesteal T-Surin for like the past year or so. But yeah, these are her stats. Nothing too crazy. It's just your usual and standard lifesteal T-Surin build. He's gonna hit 100% crit, don't worry. Yes, it's 50-50 at the moment, but when I do get to reforge this piece right here, she's gonna hit 100% crit, which is really solid. Because I think, I remember on this preseason, I didn't crit against a Cowrick, and it cost me the match. So yeah, these are her stats on the pieces of equipment right here. I think this is the weakest piece that I have on her, but it is what it is. Yeah, this is Tempest Siren. Really solid unit overall. Maid Chloe, unfortunately, I don't use her, which is a shame. She just fell out of the meta, which is unfortunate. Hopefully they do buff her, and the buff gives her some form of justice. Next up, one of the best PvE units out there, Commander Lorena. Nothing much to say about Commander Lorena. She's an amazing single target DPS unit. Like, I think, I don't know if I would recommend Commander Lorena to new players, but I think you should. If you're a new player, I think you should go for Commander Lorena because going for Commander Lorena requires like a lot of resources, and I know that. I I used up a lot of leaves and sky stones just to finish Commander Lorena's specialty change, but I think she's worth it in my opinion. She's a really good unit for expedition, for abyss, for raid. A really solid unit overall. So yeah, it's Commander Lorena. I still use her to this day. I still use her on raids and expos. Really solid overall. Even with these benchmark stats, she would work. Next up is my designer Lilibet. She's still on the same build when I debuted her on my video. So yeah, I just changed this into speed. This used to be on flat attack, I believe, and I changed it into speed. She's a bit faster now. I think around this threshold of speed, she's pretty solid at this amount of speed. So yeah, these are her stats on the gear. The amazing thing about my designer Lilibet is that I didn't strip I didn't strip my fighter Maya just to build a designer Lilibet. Also, she doesn't have a single imprint at the moment, so I could change this into something else. I think this is, I would say, maybe the weakest link or the weakest piece that I have at the moment on her. So yeah, the rest really amazing, really good stat line overall. So yeah. At the moment I have her on this. Ignore this artifact. I'm just farming friendship with her while leveling up fodder. So yeah. I think the best artifact for her is maybe Draco Plate. If you don't have Draco Plate, I think Durandal is a solid option. Or maybe Lilibet's Green Lilibet's artifact, which is creation and destruction, which is this right here. Yeah, I have it. Yeah, this one. I think this is also a really solid Lilibet piece. I mean, designer Lilibet artifact. Overall, a really good unit. People have been trashing on her, like saying she's a bad unit. While I do agree to some extent, I think she's a really solid unit overall against debuff units or debuff comps. Like she's like a solid offensive answer to debuff comps, just like Champion Zerato. Next up, MLken. Obviously, he's benched. I don't really use him anywhere. He just fell out of flavor. For years, I think it's been a year since MLken fell out of flavor. I mean, obviously, MLken is still pretty scary, but against the right comp. But yeah, it's MLken. Nothing much else to say. He's on free pieces of gear, as you can see, like 5 out of 6 is on free gear, so nothing much else to say about Amokan. Moving on, we have Fallen Cecilia. One of my Also one of my favorite units. She's just so good. Even though this is the standard FCC build, she's still a really solid unit. She's just that good of a unit. Nothing much else to say, I think. I mean, apart from the stats, uh, it's your standard FCC build, I would say. I mean, obviously, there are a lot of better FCC builds out there. So these are her stats on the equipment. This one, pretty garbage. I do plan on replacing it. This one, pretty mediocre, but solid overall, I would say. This, it's really good, I would say. This piece of gear right here, really amazing, really solid. This really amazing as well. 12 speed, that gives a lot of value to me. This it's pretty garbo, but I don't have any more good rings. Like I think A Tywin and my Crow is hogging my good HP rings. These are boots. It's really standard boots for an FCC. So yeah, really amazing unit, really solid unit. So yeah, moving on. Also one of my favorite units, Arbiter Vildred. Now My Arbiter build is, I guess you could say it's your standard Arbiter Vildred build. Like, I think the popular Arbiter Vildred builds right there are like 240, 250 speed RBs with like while trying to maintain these stats. 240, 250 while around these stats is like the popular build. Also, the counter set RB is also a popular build. But like I said, I just started farming Banshee recently. And yeah, it's just your standard RB build. Nothing much else to say. Kind of fast, around the 230 range. High offensive stats. Like, I think people are optimizing their RB ever since the modification gems came out. So yeah, these are his stats. Sword, a really good piece of sword right here. Helm, pretty okay, I would say. Chest, high crit chance, really good. This one, high speed, okay attack. This one, very high crit damage. And also this one. Just it's your standard speed RB build, I would say. Not fast enough though, but it still gets the job done. Akoli, I don't use her unfortunately. I just don't have enough good pieces of speed here. BBK, I just use her for raid. So these are her stats though, if you guys are curious. I just use her for normal and hell raid. My raid team is Tamarin, Montmorency, BBK, and Commander Lorena. That's like my normal raid team. Really solid normal. It gives out a lot of morale. So yeah, that's my BBK. Nothing much else to say. I guess it's your standard PBK as well. Next up is my Remnant Violet. Now my Remnant Violet isn't on the popular lifesteal build. Mine is on the speed set. I think speed set Remnant Violet is still has a place in the meta, but I think lifesteal is just much better, just slightly much better than this kind of build. I think it's just better overall, but regardless, I still think speed Violet has a place in the meta. Like it catches some people off guard because they wouldn't expect these very high speed Violet. So yeah, this is my Remnant Violet build. I just recently finished him like 2 weeks ago. Before he used to be on like 242 speed with less offensive stats. Now I managed to make him faster while giving him more damage on his stats right here. Yeah, these are his pieces right here. I think obviously I could make him faster, like the sword. I think this my sword is the slowest piece on my Remnant Violet. I could still improve him. Also the helm is pretty slow, but 29% attack with solid offensive substats right here. So yeah, it's my Remnant Violet. Nothing much else to say. I think my Remnant Violet's purpose is to assassinate someone along with my Falcon Artillery because sometimes I do draft my Remnant Violet along with Falcon Artillery and to catch people off guard with assassinating with S3. Now, moving on, we have Oxlots, my fastest unit. Yes, this unit right here is my fastest unit, which is which is really sad, I guess. So yeah, this is my A-Lots 264, my fastest unit in the game. So these are his pieces right here, 18 speed. This one, obviously the weakest piece, 11 speed. 15, 19. By the way, I don't have a 20 piece. I don't have a speed set. I mean, I don't have a single piece of equipment that is above 19. So I haven't hit the 20 mark yet, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Yeah, this is my Alots. I use him on normal arena. Yeah, normal arena and Guild Wars. I don't use him on RTA, obviously, because maybe you can judge by my playstyle that I'm more of a bruiser type of player. So yeah, this is my A-Lots right here. Nothing special, I would say. Obviously, I would love to make him faster if I can, but that I don't think that's happening anytime soon. Next up, my CDOM. It's your standard CDOM build, I'd say. It's standards fast. I mean, it's a standard cleave CDOM. That's what I would like to say. So yeah, this is CDOM right here. Nothing special to say about her. These are her stats on the pieces of gear right here. Not sure if I should 90 this yet. I mean, it's solid, but it's solid, I would say. But I don't know. I'm still on the fence about whether reforging this or not. Just for Seedom. But yeah, this is Seedom. Nothing out of the ordinary. Just the usual build for Seedoms out there. Next up, Champion Zerato. I'd say it's a solid Champion Zerato. More on the squishy side on in terms of defense. Like I think the standard defense for Champion Zerato is around 1,300 or even more. But yeah, this is my Champion Zerato build. Obviously, I haven't touched him. I think. Yeah, this is he remained on this build for quite a long time now. I haven't really touched him, or I mean, touched his build lately. But yeah, it's a solid champion Zerato build. Some form of damage here and there. I guess solid amount of bulk for champion Zerato. So yeah, these are his pieces right here. I mean, the lifesteal gear from Abyss is just a blessing. Those pieces are just really good, no matter what they roll. You're going to slap them onto a unit. So yeah, this is Champions Around. Nothing much else to say. Next up, top model Luca. Now, she's also one of the hardest units to build out there, in my opinion. She just needs a lot of stats. I'm proud that I've managed to hit these stats on my top model. Like solid offensive stats while having 250 speed and 100% crit. Really, really happy that I was able to achieve that. Ever since I pulled her, I've been working on her nonstop. Like I've been improving her gear left and right. Before she used to be at 228 speed. Like obviously, I think her and my Remnant Violet, like my two, I guess the two units that I took the time to build the most. Yeah, because the stat line that I aim for them is really high. The stat line. So this is my top model. Look, obviously you want 100% crit. If you have less than 100% crit, then I respect you for gambling. But to me, I don't like to gamble, so 100% crit. You live and die by the 50-50% crit chance. So yeah, obviously, if I can make her faster, I would. While maintaining the same amount of offensive stats. If I could make her more, if I could make her hit harder, then obviously I would love to do that. But at the moment, this is the best that I can do on my top model, Luluka. This is her speed. These are her pieces right here. I'd say really, really good top model Luluka overall. Nothing much else to say. So yeah. I think this is the last one. Last but not least is my Sinful Angelica. Now, I only, I don't really draft her on RTA. I think I've drafted her 3 times, I think, over the lifetime of my RTA. Oh yeah, this is my Sinful Angelica. It's a mediocre Sinful Angelica, if I'm being honest here. Like obviously I could improve on her stats more, like more effect resist, more speed and stuff like that. But what at the moment is the best that I could give. It's I guess it's an okay Sinful Angelica. I use her on Guild Wars. If there's a revive, if there's an RV or a revive based team. So yeah, Sinful Angelica. She's a really good unit. Like don't underestimate her. She's a really good unit. On even on RTA, she's a really good unit, I would say. But obviously not the best, but still a solid unit. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers up. I mean, I do have Adventurer Ross. I mean, obviously he's still an ongoing project, along with my Bazaar. He's still. I really want to build a Bazaar. He's just really good in today's meta. Really solid. So yeah, those are my units right there. Whew, my throat. I need to drink water after this. So that's my account review for next season's, I mean, this season's RTA Season 4. That really took a toll on my throat. So anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, if you guys learned something, or if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. And yeah, that pretty much wraps up my account review. I'll see you guys next time.